republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Joanne, can you do roll call?
Dr. Bloom is excused. Jennifer Coleman. Here. Greg Bernard.
Here.
Here.
Jay Erickson.
Here.
Mark Friedman.
Here.
Okay. All right, first item on the agenda is Elegance 92 Incorporated, 158 Route 22.
Nobody's here.
Nobody's in the audience for Elegance 22? Okay. New sign application, just exchanging, simple exchange of the old application. Pretty straightforward. Smoke shop, tobacco, vaping, cigars, new business. The street number is identified above the sign, and it is illuminated. So, does anybody have any questions or concerns?
This is in the package?
It's right here.
Oh, sorry.
I shouldn't have separated, sorry.
Say again?
I left it separate,
don't
so
worry
it was
about
easy to grab.
Should have looked this up. Where's 158?
Where Eastern Hay is, where we did that site plan recently for?
Okay, that building.
Next to Wineology.
Yes, one of those shops.
Is there a pylon there?
Is there a what?
Pylon sign?
Out on the street, yeah, the same will go in there. I think it says so.
Yeah.
You gotta replace it on the building.
They're just replacing,
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
What is tobacco?
Yes.
I would suggest
Spell
like,
it. Spell check.
yeah, spell check.
Better tell them that before they send it to the,
They're selling something.
be something new, you never know.
The more elegant spelling.
It's free speech.
You know, sometimes when you put something wrong, people look at it more.
Oh, right, maybe it's
It's,
a marketing ploy.
The marketing play, yeah.
All right.
yeah, I'll make a motion to, approve the sign as presented for Elegance 92 Inc., 158 Route 22.
All right, do we have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, second item on the agenda, 24 Strawberry Hill. John Kalin's here. We did have a memo from Walter Artis dated March 6th. Did everybody get a chance to read that memo
Yes.
as emailed? And John, you want to welcome?
Hey, good night.
Present.
Evening, everyone. Yeah, so we're here tonight for a stormwater permit. Client's going to build a barn and a tennis court on the property, adjacent to one we've done previously for him. Prepared a stormwater plan, did some modest stormwater treatment measures for any of the runoff, because we are beyond but adjacent to a stream area, so just trying to keep everything in check. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
And,
Low disturbance,
you
everything's
got
built
Walter's
right at
blessing,
grade.
pretty much, so.
Yeah, he said the one outstanding comment was the stormwater certified inspector for stormwater kind of laughed, but he should know better. But that's okay. So yeah, and that's really it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments?
No accessory apartment?
No.
Mr. Gibbs is here, he's the landowner.
Oh, okay. Hey, so, does it have any, the barn is gonna be, does it have any, plumbing or anything like that?
Yes.
It does?
Yeah, because the tennis court and the proximity to the house, got a convenience bathroom down there.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
So
We put,
septic?
yeah, there was a septic already installed for the previous barn right next to it, so we're just gonna
Using the
send this plumbing line over to it. Same thing with water supply, it's already brought down to that side by the barn, so we're just gonna tee off that and bring it to the building. And electric, in fact, everything's right there,
Got it.
so, simple.
Anybody else? Anybody want to look at the plan a little closer, or?
Okay, so-
Greg, you good?
I'm good, yeah.
All right, Jen?
Shake my
Okay.
hand back and forth so you can't really see it.
Good.
Barn that was done a couple years ago.
Okay.
This is the new barn, that's gonna be the tennis court.
The house?
House is
You can't
just
see
off
it.
paper,
Okay.
yeah, up here, on the high side.
And Strawberry Hill is?
Not far from you.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get my
Backyard,
bearings.
yeah. So,
Got it.
that's, yeah. Like I said, the way the former farm field was laid out, the grading is just like minimal, super minimal, so it's gonna be an easy one to get in, get out of.
All right, if there isn't anything else, we can make a motion.
I'll make a motion that the board waives Chapter 111 Freshwater, Wetlands, and Watercourse Protection, sections as per 111-6E, 4C2 through 111-61, 111-6A, and 111-6C, public hearings, referrals to outside agencies, and performance bond, as recommended by Mr. Artis. The board refers this environmental permit to the Stormwater Management Officer for issuance of the environmental permit.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mark. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Thank you very much,
Congratulations.
everybody.
Thank you.
Be in touch, see you soon. Next board meeting.
I'll get you the permit.
Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda is Tremson Wood Products, 84 Libby Lane. At this point, we're gonna, if someone wants to make a motion, we can go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go in executive session.
Second,
Second?
discussion. All in favor? Opposed?
Where do you want to go?
Can we go in the conference room over here?
Certainly.
Yeah. I think that should be fine. Okay, so can someone make that motion to take us out of executive session?
I'll make a motion to come back from executive session and make a motion that no decisions were made during executive session and for the board to come out of it.
Okay, second.
Second.
Second by Greg. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Seeing no opposed. Okay. Trempson, 84 Liberty Lane, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Renee Norrie. I'm with the law firm of Chemalian Wood on behalf of Chemson Wood Products. Tonight we're looking for conditional approval, and I have Todd with me to walk you through the site plan. Before we begin, though, I want to address something. We understand that Steve Perino, through his counsel, sent a letter over the weekend on Friday, and I just want to note that Perino's comments are untimely and should not be considered today. And out of the abundance of caution, Mr. Sokon had sent a responsive letter, I believe, today. But I would like to defer to Todd to address the board.
Sure. Hey Todd, how's it going?
Good evening. Good, how are you?
Good.
I step back here. This mic's a little hot. Good evening. Todd Atkinson with Flechetti Associates here on behalf of Trempson. The last time we were here, there was three main topics that were presented as being issues that we believe that the board was pushing out as issues. One being traffic, the second being visual, and the third being noise. What we did was during the actual walkthrough, a site visit on February 27th, was we looked at trying to show you around the site, show you the different aspects of the site, show you the different noise levels around the site, also give you the ability to take a look at the visuals. And at the last meeting, we had actually submitted a response from Phil Grilly to your traffic engineer in reference to his comments, and we haven't received anything from that yet. We're not sure if we're going to receive anything. The traffic engineer at the last meeting stated that he thought that the comments adequately addressed the comments that he had, but we're just wondering if we're going to receive a copy of something from that traffic engineer.
Well, we haven't heard anything yet back.
Okay,
from
okay.
at this
So,
point.
so from a traffic standpoint, we believe that we've answered the questions that the board had via that engineer's report, and we provided comments to that. The visual aspects that we see here, I think I've walked with a lot of you throughout the night out there, but I didn't walk with everybody at one time, so I didn't hear what everybody's comments were or whatnot. In regard to visual, which would be the actual berm down in this location, and any other aspects of the visual that could be seen either from off-site or within the site through there. So what we're looking for is any comments or concerns that we should be looking to address.
Well, do you have the overlay from 2014? That were,
The overlay from 2014, I have it on this plan. This plan. A little hard to see, but there's purple outlines on here that show the different areas. And then this area is actually the same. And 2 is very similar except for this little area here not shown. 6 is still the same. 3 is the same, but this area was part of number 2 at the time, and 4 was not being utilized on that aerial.
Can you draw with your finger the outline of the purple around MJD?
Yep, sure. What was being used was here, like this. Here.
Here.
Oh, sorry. Got a marker? Thank you. That's a big one.
Always roll with a big Sharpie.
Not a t-shirt.
That was the area that was not being used, but it was the area that was actually disturbed at the time in 2013.
Disturbance that we're looking at, or the comparison to the plan?
When I left here last, it was you wanted to use the 2013 aerial, not the plan, but the 2013 aerial, and what I believed was the disturbance set was on that aerial at the time.
I think
If I was
we
wrong-
wanted to see the plan.
That's my understanding.
That was pretty straightforward and clear, but,
Do you have an idea of what part of that was being used in 2014?
Let me see if I can get that. Maybe I have the plan in there.
I believe that it was probably
Yeah, straight across,
something like that. Right? This was being used at the time. Not this area. Yeah. Back then, it was this area.
Okay.
So that's
21.
it's quite a bit of an expansion, you know?
Would that give something?
What I had drawn on here in purple was 104,000 square feet. What was in yellow was actually 94,000 square feet. And then this area here is probably somewhere around 84,000 square feet.
April 2022.
Just give us a second, we're looking.
I didn't bring the 2013 file with me, so I don't have that map.
You're looking for the conceptual
Go ahead.
plan, right? We got it. Yeah. You got it, okay, good.
Mark,
this way. Bring this up here so you can see it. So you're looking at from the property line, so it would be here. It goes back to just behind the buildings, which was that line there. Those sheds were not on there, or were? No? Has to do with us. Well, let's just see where, so it's bigger than what I had drawn on there before, right?
something like that.
Is that agree?
Ish, you know, we're here for ish. We can clean this up afterwards.
Yes. Yeah, we're just going right off of what they show here. There's a turning where it starts to turn, right, you know, maybe even just a little bit further
Right.
from the turning point.
Can you use that marker and do these boxes?
Sure.
What we wanted to see was this on that.
Understood.
No, I can see, thank you.
Tell me if I'm wrong. It's a scale.
Approximate.
Scale 1 to 100? or
200.
1 to 200.
Yep.
Right? Here.
Yeah, yeah. The eastern bound
Yeah,
is
straight
like
back
just
on.
past this eastern
Just
bound.
past the eastern boundary there. So it's past there, right?
But, yeah.
And then we're coming almost all the way down to here, right?
Yeah.
Across the bottom, almost in line again.
Square it all.
Right? Here. Well,
You want to come in, Jen? You want to take a look?
We asked for this a few times, so.
how far, Jay, are you looking, or Aaron, are you looking in here somewhere? The back on,
Yeah.
Just trying to get a sense of
Yeah.
what this is.
somewhere like.
Yeah, it kind of maps to what's there. About like that, yep.
Actually goes out all the way over to this file.
And we've got our little woodland
Hey, right?
little spot.
So that's about 100 by 100, because we're actually we're 200, that's an inch by an inch, right?
Yep.
That's 100 by 100.
Kind of what's there.
You like this? Does it touch the property line?
It's pretty much just a square.
Yeah, like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally approximate but valuable.
After that is, I'm gonna. And then that's the whole box.
Yeah, just mark them A, B, C, D, too.
What's that hash mark area?
That doesn't exist, it's just this box.
Oh, yeah, right. In terms of what was in the 2014 plan.
Yeah,
Yep.
right, like that doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
If we're able to get ourselves into these 3 or 4 areas, I mean, our 5 areas, I should say. Based on that, that's the direction we want to move.
Super high level, yes. I think we've had prior discussions of trying to get back into the 2014 conceptual and literal box, but maybe, yeah, we can all probably get back to our positions and put this over there.
Places, everyone.
Places. I just want to take a step back for everybody. There is pending litigation. Obviously, we're all aware of it, and discovery is due at the end of this month. So, and what follows discovery is what's known as depositions. We're probably looking at 10 to 20 depositions and trial, and nobody wants that pain, right? So we're trying to collaborate to find a better path forward. And in terms of what we're able to do mechanically is to attempt to try and we have a list of points that we want to lead a discussion through to find alignment in discussion. If we can do that, then the goal would be for the lawyers and the engineers to detail out those basic terms as soon as possible. And then we may be prepared to offer a site plan approval with significant conditions and very detailed and very clear conditions that will, if they are not met, invalidate the site plan approval. And we want to work hastily on that, and we're prepared potentially to have a meeting outside of our normal schedule. And this is not our day jobs. And so I just want to put that context because I think it's important. And hopefully you guys are here to try and align on basic terms as well and not end up in a debate of history.
That's exactly why we're here. We don't want to have any rehashments and to concur. We want to save litigation costs. It's already cost tens of thousands of dollars in time and money. We're here to get it worked out.
Great. So we're aligned
We are.
on that. So I think how we would like to begin is just to share some of our observations from the site walk. And just maybe not spend too much time on that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you want to, we can go down the line if you have anything you want to share or?
It was very helpful, so thanks for inviting us. I had no idea what it would look like down that road, so it was very educational for me. I think it brought to life what the areas are, and it helped us see both the Tremson working environment and what the neighbors are seeing, so I think it was very helpful. I mean, I have specific ideas about it, but I think
Yeah,
you
they'll come
captured
out.
those in the memo, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we do have a memo that captures that site visit. And just for everybody's, not everybody was there, so we went and walked around this particular property with the tub grinder on, and then we went to the neighbors on Holiday and listened and observed from there. So that was the basic gist of the day. I don't think it's probably, we don't need to like read through this memo at this point. But I mean, I can just share my high observations being that, we'll talk about some details when we get into the next item we want to talk about, which is the berm. But I definitely, and it's apparent here on what we just did in this exercise of just the scope of expansion. I was there in 2013, and for various reasons, I haven't been back since. But I was really, my biggest impression was the level of the degree of expansion and clearing. That was, yeah. We can get into some more details, but.
Yeah, I share the same thoughts. I'll be honest, I was quite disappointed with TNA and the contamination in the ground. I was also very disappointed in Woodland, the containers, storage containers. We can go, the level of expansion. MJD did expand a lot, but it's the cleanest tenant you have and the most organized, I thought, and I think it's ran pretty well.
One positive I wanted to share too is that when the tub grinder was on, and we were at the neighbors, you couldn't hear it.
Right.
So it was that, and that was, actually kind of surprising.
And I thought maybe an expansion of the berm, more.
Higher?
Not higher, but more to the
South.
More to going behind MJD.
behind MJD.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think that would be more helpful to mitigate some of the sound, and maybe some, pine trees planted if we can, something in the back there. As far as the area that you use for storage and overflow, how necessary is that?
Area 4, that would be?
Area 4, I mean,
It's an extremely necessary area. That's the area that.
well, let's just say if
there's-
you lose, let's say you get rid of TNA, can you use that area for your overflow?
No, I don't think it would make sense for us to do it there. TNA, it seems as if it may be a condition, but.
Because there's also a little more area behind TNA where there used to be an old landscaper there, right? Not,
That's currently left.
Number 6?
So they're sort of in.
they're moving out. So that's more area you can have right there as well, right?
It can't be, we can't substitute one for the other. I mean, the importance of what that area does, you guys see the way it is now.
Can you talk into the microphone?
We have one storm around this area, and that's the area where things have to get overflowed, organics that get overflowed, to then be taken off and ground off-site. This is a crucial area for stockpiling. We don't have, I know that the towns don't have the ability to do that, and this is an important
So
area.
who actually brings it? The towns bring it, or you
No,
pick it up?
we bring it. That's only, the access there is only for Tremson. And this is just for our own overflow.
So
And when we say overflow, like,
I think it was the
like
intent.
how many storm events are we talking about?
It was the
4 a
intention.
year, 1 a year, 2 a year?
It depends on the weather.
You know, what I mean, like your best year.
busy.
What is your busiest year? How many storms did you have that you actually had to stop?
I couldn't tell you that, like, for certainty. I
But
mean,
maybe I can ask it a different way, like, when is that space, I was surprised at how big that space was and how clear it was,
Right.
that was like, it was a
but
surprise to me.
without when the berm is the way it is now, it definitely,
So is that area ever completely full? Like, what is the capacity? Like, is it ever at 100% of overflow of organics? Or is, okay,
no,
so
if you
then,
filled that, yeah. it would-
yes, that's right. So what would be the, like, if you had to look at the capacity and adjust so we're saying, what if you didn't use that area at all, right? So that's our position, which is very far from your position. So I'm trying to get us more to a position that's, like, we're trying to come to the middle position. What would be a realistic reduction of that space for overflow?
John?
Yes, John.
Tremblay,
Is there, is
one
there?
of the owners.
Okay,
So
is
one of
there
the
a
reasons,
reduction of
too,
space
is,
that could be
like,
done
you
there?
don't want to pile organics too high. You know, they do get hot. So you want to try to keep them at a low 20-foot and bermed. So that's why it takes up a lot of room.
Hey, when you
And that area is perfect because it's all in like a dome. We've made it so we're trapped inside. So any soil that we put there, you know, everything turns to soil. We might put wood there, but it's going to turn to soil or something in the future, and then it breaks down there, and it takes a lot of time for that to break down. So that's why that's so helpful for us to bring. And we were approached by like Dutchess County, Putnam County, when we had some crazy storms, which we haven't had any in a little bit now, but we've had problems where we didn't have any place for ourselves. And Putnam County was asking us, and Dutchess County was asking us, like, hey, do you have a spot for us to, even this town, we let this town dump quite a bit one year when we had that twister or whatever, I think.
When you microburst.
The microburst there, we stored a lot of stuff from this county, and
I
we were,
mean, I've said no to the village, which in years has dumped snow in, you know, in these areas.
Yeah.
They've expanded their own area. This is the latest one, so they've pushed back because, you know, via this process, I was, hey, you guys can't be, you know, can't be encroaching in here. But it's sort of a contiguous area, and this was always the intent all the way back. I mean, we hold back to this 2014 plan, but I know John walked through here with some of the members of the board.
George originally, and we walked right through here, George and I, George had the intention, we said, we'll build a berm, and it's actually perfect for soil because it's locked inside here, can't go out,
Yeah,
and it
but
just sits there.
When we were there with George, it was much smaller than what it is now. You did
that could be-
remove
There
a
was a
lot of.
lot of
Seven.
steel that was dumped in the property from the previous.
I don't remember seeing
We
steel
had
there.
to, we had to dig that all out of there. Oh, we actually,
Yeah, years
Was-
and
was
there's
But so
years.
if we're thinking about like this meeting of Tremson and the neighbors, right? That's the point where the meeting of Tremson and the neighbors happens. And so what I'm saying is, where can we come together to find a solution to expand that? I know the berm, we saw the berm, but is there any possibility to kind of expand that buffer area and keep some of the area for storage, but create a little bit of a,
Hey, can you make 100-foot, could you make a 100-foot buffer there? Can you make a 50-foot buffer there?
yeah.
further down,
Like, what would fit?
and that was always my
inches,
goal,
inches
because
60.
An inch is 60?
Yeah.
You know, if we had, you know, a buffer that was here, we're not gonna, you know, have a berm that's, you know, this wide, but if you had a buffer between here and here, in this area and somewhere.
Right, that's
Right.
what, yeah, that's what
That's
I'm
what-
trying to get
Not
to.
to use it, is that what?
Correct.
the intention is, not
Yeah.
to use it?
To
What would be the
revegetate it,
reasoning, what
Vegetate.
would be the reasoning for that, though? I mean, what's it? Just-
to reduce the intensity of the usage.
Reduce the intensity, reduce the use closest to the berm, which is
Closest to
where
the
the
neighbors.
noise impacts occur.
Yeah.
Well, it's only a storage area, we don't do any
Right,
machinery there.
but trucks obviously come in. that have to unload and load it. They have gates, they have backup beeps, and.
We work very hard not to do that, but yep.
Okay, but it happens. I mean, that's what construction trucks do. I
So
mean,
you see this, sorry, you see the way, this is the most accurate shot really, because it shows how green this area is, from here all the way, back to here. That the berm doesn't have as much greenery as it does, as it will now, because now it's all soil. But you've got your greenery all the way into these areas, this area here.
There's nothing there now.
It's not there now.
Not there now. I mean,
Right.
It's
It
the
will
winter
be,
time. You've got this whole area, right, that you've got green. Am I looking at the wrong color here? Yeah.
That's just, but it's not, you're saying to revegetate what's there now for that, to
Yeah,
approximate the line you're drawing?
Yeah, so that if you drew a line there and said, okay, this is already where the berm, the stump berm was. So now you cut this whole area out. Stump berm was quite wide too. So if you cut this, I have no idea how many square feet that is. That was already not being used by us, as seen by how green it is and undisturbed at this point. So if you said, how many square feet is this large area? Now you have from here all the way to the property line,
Which is over here.
Yeah, which is,
Oh, no, it's over here.
this is this. So, this type of area, I mean, I don't know what your, zero between 0 and maybe this, like, I feel like they're in a way, maybe this, I mean, I don't.
I mean, I think conceptually, could we agree to a percentage reduction of what's open space there now? And then have the engineers, draw it in a way to optimize for minimizing impacts.
Yeah, for noise and like visual. So I think we're saying that you're hearing what I'm saying, Tyler, that we're thinking of how do we create more of a buffer between the neighbors and Tremson? Because if we all put ourselves in the shoes of the neighbors, like if that was your driveway or your house, or you were trying to cook breakfast or sit on the patio.
That berm's been, I've been working on that for a long time.
You might be like, oh, okay, we don't like
and
this.
reduce
Yeah,
the-
so.
That's why the berm got built.
I don't know if
So
they're gonna be able to get a berm behind MJD.
So I
though.
think that
It's a
this
wetland.
is
No,
like
wetlands.
an evolution of what is this, how does this berm help to continue
What if we built the berm on the
be
back-
revegetated,
backside?
potentially extended?
Really from you guys were all over on Holiday over here, which is the most direct, right? What was the feedback of visual and noise from here, from this area, right? The closest,
You guys see
the
it
closest
from
neighbors. I
across
mean,
street.
the only
Yeah.
the closest neighbors
Yeah.
is Vincent Adams.
You can see MJD.
MJD is actually a
Very
pretty
clear.
big impact in terms of light and noise, but we'll get there. Let's stay in this area. And so I think and it's not just, it's minimizing the impacts, but it's also minimizing the overall potential intensity when there is a storm, or just to be able to reduce the number of loads that are coming. If we reduce that storage area by 50%, it'll be 50% less loads and unloading, right? So I think that's what we're trying to look for.
That's what you're looking for, less
less
material in the yard.
We want less material, less intensity, more buffer. And we think that by the conceptual agreement is let's get to the 2014 boxes, which are literally those boxes that are drawn on there. That was what is in the concept plan. That entire area is not contemplated in the 2014 plan. Yes, you and George may have had a conversation walking in the woods, but that's not on the record. It's not part of this plan. So we're at 100%. That's our starting point. And so I think maybe the middle ground, just hitting it with a simple stick, is 50%. So if we can reduce that area by 50% and revegetate it, maybe that's a place we can align. Which still gives you a huge area. It's a huge area.
Yes.
And this is not your core business. This is occasionally if there's a big storm, right?
Jay,
Well, it's our
yeah, I
land.
wouldn't-
You
yeah.
need to let them sit for.
yeah.
We might
Also,
not touch it for
also,
years.
at this
We'll
point,
pile it there.
Jay, you could say, you've got plenty of space, that's fine, you don't need all that space, but we do own that area, we have a business to run. I mean, there's an arbitrary part of saying, You want to reduce it by 50%.
No, I'm saying the conceptual agreement is the 2014 boxes. Like, you guys have conceptually agreed to get back into 2014 boxes. These are the boxes. That entire area is outside of the box. No?
So-
Say for 2014.
So yeah, everyone, it's okay to take a breath. We're far apart on this, right? You guys are here and we're here. And so
For
we're.
area 4. right?
For Area
Yeah.
4, and so it's like, so this is a conversation, so we're saying, in our dream world, we would like to see it be revegetated and not used, that's our dream world, it's not, and I see that you're like, no, that's not gonna work for us, so what we're saying is what is a world where we can get some of that back,
Well,
you know, what
that
is.
was always the intention. We're not gonna ever work any machinery up there. That was just for
Yeah.
organics. When we
Pulling
store up there-
intensity out of here is not, when you have a windrow, and sorry, we're already gonna draw on this plan, when you have a windrow and stuff, you have it kind of like a cylinder, that's how I'll draw it, right? 20 feet wide, 15 feet high or 20 feet high, and then it's gotta be long, because it can't be any higher. So, that's where you can
And you
have
wanna
these
leave-
things.
You wanna leave a berm between that you could drive between, so if you wanted to turn the pile.
Yeah, you have to-
Just to let it.
It's just out of practicality as well. This area, I don't think putting a bigger berm or, where we had such contention over this berm and then now we get, extend the berm, that's already as tight or pulled in as it should be, as it could be here. I mean, there's some areas that this encompasses, like this, these lines. We don't use anything in this area, and anything in this box, I should say, so.
You're gonna look at that next year and it's gonna be a lot greener
Yeah,
because we don't touch some of those areas. That whole berm is gonna turn
This whole
green.
side, this is,
We're never
this is
gonna go
rock.
back there again.
This is where, drawing these lines,
Well, I think if what you're saying is that there's portions of this that you're never going to use that are going to be green, that needs to be on the map. And, I want to echo what Dave said, which is, it's our position that none of this was on the 2014 map that was proposed. And this is a good faith effort to come to an agreement. So if your position is that, you need it all, then we're going to stick to our positions. And that's going to lead to where we just discussed, misleading.
If we get really sharp on these things and Todd tightens up on these areas, even in this area right now, I mean, of course, everything looks the same, but we could pull these in and say, let's see what that looks like. That's pulled in. I have no idea how many square feet that would be. Or
What do you mean pull in? Just the
pull
lines?
These yellow lines.
Establish a
Say
new
that's-
line
those are-
Yeah,
beyond
so
the berm.
Those are
Yeah.
your.
Not move the berm, just.
No.
No.
Just define, yeah, that.
Define
yeah.
that, right? If I drew that with, okay, this is a big rock, mound that's not gonna be used. It's within our, and we didn't know we'd be coming down and splitting hairs with this. This whole area here, this is not used. Can I have that big Sharpie?
A bigger Sharpie. Can we grab that Sharpie again?
Where's the master Sharpie that we have here?
Thank you.
Kind of the big shot.
Bear with me. You've got this area here. Pulled it in, even like this one. Saw this on your site visit. Elevation change, this is just sort of decorative greenery.
Well, you don't want to incorporate it then?
Yeah, I don't want to incorporate.
We'll go the other way then.
So, you basically sliced it from this area here.
So that looks like
Pull that.
25%.
How many?
Can we lop off the dangling part?
This type of work?
Yes, because that's the part where the berm isn't right now, and the part that is closest to the neighbors.
The berm it goes to right here. Right now.
Right, well, and it,
Yeah, a little, yeah.
but if we can pull the activity out of the dangle,
This area.
This would be just vehicles driving in to get back in here.
Yeah.
Kind of lopsided.
what's it called? I don't know what Florida. If we can just get rid of Florida.
Yeah, right, so that's, all right, that's gone, because we're going with this, right? So this isn't part of it, we're lopping that off.
Right, but I'm saying just, can we lop Florida off entirely? It's not a volume-wise a big,
This little piece right here?
yeah.
That's how they enter with the
That's
trucks.
the driveway.
Yeah, the driveway's right.
That's how they
right
go
there.
through the village.
Yeah,
They go through the
meet is
village
right here,
property.
roughly, and so you kind of drive in.
You
which-
can't come down that other way,
Yeah, and it's,
Too steep coming in.
too steep.
and, yeah, when you're.
But no storage there.
No, this is just a
Drive.
a drive.
see.
And from what you guys saw from Holiday, you can't see, because the berm goes
Right,
quite a bit here. So you're not seeing, you cannot, it's behind the berm, you cannot see this driveway.
right. I
This
remember.
area.
If you want to take the driveway off and say there's no storage there, that's fine, but we need that access back. to-
That's what I'm saying, just make that a road.
Okay.
Right,
so then
and
make
And
it-
get rid of Florida, turn Florida into a
That's
road.
like, what you want, just
Cut it straight across, there you go, like that.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
You are, that was an existing, gate and all that, so that's been the same spot.
And can we agree to extend that berm also?
We just would, we'd, go ahead, Tom.
We
Yeah.
can do that, we just have to work with the DEC because we're getting closer to the.
I can see the wetland delineation there.
It pulls in, the delineation
Yeah.
pulls in here, like,
Where?
This
closest.
is the 100-foot setback right here.
Uh-huh.
So if we keep running across the front of this.
No, but turn it.
Right to where, right to where Woodland
Like
is.
this,
Turn the berm.
right?
Yeah,
Like that, okay,
and maybe,
and then pass.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, just,
And then I don't.
I don't know if we gotta, they only delineate to this point, but we would have to see if we can get back in there. Now, when we do that though, there's gonna be tree clearing, so in order to get back there to construct that.
I think we're on this side of the bigger trees.
Okay.
Yeah, we could keep it on that side too.
But you wanna go as close to the property line as possible, probably to block off.
Yeah, 'cause
that.
now-
well, you're not gonna get to the height of MJD,
No.
right? That's,
But that's one of the ideas, is maybe we do something on the backside that you.
yes, and I think we wanna plant,
Right,
we gotta
right,
plant
right.
there, but I don't think you need to pull that berm that far south. Yeah,
Yeah, we
exactly,
go probably about here, so you can't
Yes.
see this. And
yes.
then back here, we do something on the backside of
Yes.
MGD to block it.
We do staggered pines.
Staggered pines, yeah.
Yeah, they see through here, and they saw, that's the stacker that you were asking about, that was sitting over here.
Yeah,
That's where they're seeing lights and stuff coming.
And then this is coming off too.
Yeah, that part is.
all right, so for the planning board, if we can reduce this area, are we, with how they've hashed out roughly, obviously, are we satisfied with that?
One of
Well-
the questions I had too, this piece up here is outside of the actual setback area. I'd like to move this piece to be the strip in between, because they're connected right now. Possible.
In terms of what's available for use?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
Because right now, it's getting too close to the property.
yeah, no, practically that place is already, that whole, yeah, that should just be one box,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that this would be like this,
yeah.
right?
Right now, TNA is in that
And
box,
then
right?
this area would come off.
TNA's right,
Yeah, so, but
Okay,
let's
so-
try and
Can I
close
make a
out some
suggestion
things.
on the
let's
berm?
Wrap the berm.
Would it be I mean, my main concern with the berm, not main, maybe that's not the appropriate word, but a concern with the berm is that it seems very unstable. And
Yeah, I want to talk
hold
about
on,
that, yeah, yeah.
Hold on. It seems very unstable. It seems like it's finely ground mulch, not like topsoil, although I'm not an environmental engineer. Would it be possible and beneficial to grade that berm out flatter into the hatched areas that you've just drawn, so that we're not talking about a massive pile that can't hold vegetation?
So,
I'm asking that
I don't think
question.
we want to reduce the height.
Lower it.
Yeah, I
Because
don't,
here- so
Not
here's-
lower it. No, you don't have to lower it.
More material.
Yeah, you have to bring more material.
We could bring more to, well, so my question is, so you're saying that, you said that was made out of soil and fill.
Yes.
Yeah,
Where did that
topsoil.
come from?
That's all topsoil.
It's all
That's
topsoil.
stock-
From where?
Yeah,
From that
stockpiled
yard.
in that
We
area.
pretty much used
So
all our
you picked up
inventory.
the
Used
soil and you
everything.
pushed it up.
Yeah,
The stumps come with a lot of soil already on them, so when that gets banged off, that's the soil
I mean,
that
that's-
gets built up, and they also had soil sitting there.
that's
for years.
a hell of a lot of, I mean, we basically, if you had to calculate how much we put here, it was the entire stockpile of what we had there.
Yeah, it's a lot of volume, but
And it's
that's,
a lot
so
of-
it feels like, I mean, look, I went up on the berm, I spent some time up there, and my
Heard you
boot
climbed it. Yeah.
went in 10 inches, and this is 200 pounds, I don't know what the pounds per square inch, but it was not compacted, okay?
You are correct.
And I felt it in my hand, and I'm not a soil biologist, but there was a tremendous amount of organic material, like a lot. And so if I were to guess, I think that if you did nothing and there was no erosion and just decay, that the whole thing is going to come down 4 or 5 feet in 10 years, just by decay, just by the volume. I just stood on it, and my boot went down 10 inches.
Probably
So-
naturally, it's gonna do
Yeah,
that.
it's gonna
But
settle.
that's not what we're here for. Like NASA, we need to figure something else out. So I don't know if
Todd
you
has a
could-
detailed
if
plan
you
about, seeding this thing with what the,
but seeding it isn't going to prevent decay and it coming down, right? So I think what we had talked about potentially was, taking the top, pushing the top off so we can actually plant on top of it, and then as you do that, taking excavator bucket heads or however, I don't know how to do it, and you just got to compact it way more than it is
All the
now.
work that they did, Jay, during that time was all during a time where it was sub 25-degree temperatures. So the material that was there, when we went out there, we had gotten a little bit of a thaw for a day or two, and that's what you're seeing with the compression.
Yeah, with the
soil.
rain, the rain will compact that. We've had no rain probably since. we went
Rain,
up there.
decay, all the stuff, and it's
It's
going to
gonna
be
compact it
unstable. So I
enough.
think what we're looking for, and again, the engineers can get tight on this, is that at the end of the day, we like the height, right? We don't want it to go down much, other than to maybe take off a few feet to get it, get a flat enough area to be able to plant some pines on top of it. But however you do it, that needs to be compacted and stable,
So
which
would
means
it-
you're going to have to
would it
probably
be,
add
would it
material to
be-
compact it.
realistic to say that, in this process, we're responsible for, like, Trempson is obviously responsible for the continued, for as long as we own the property and use it, and we have to maintain this. If it does settle over years, we'd have to.
I would say when it does, and if you plant that and start throw a bunch of material on it, it's going to kill everything that's grown on it.
But I think as part of the planning, so we did have some members of the Conservation Advisory Board out there at the site visit, some of whom are experts. So I think as part of this process, it's, what you're saying is like addressing the concerns about the berm the way it is, proposing what the vegetation is actually going to look like, and what's going to be sustainable, both for, obviously, you're not going to want to create something that you're going to have to be like taking care of every 5 seconds. So like, what is the long-term plan for that berm and that revegetation that's realistic, and what will it look like, right?
That maintains the
Yeah,
height,
the
allows us to
integrity,
put some
yeah.
trees on top of it and
Exactly.
pull it down. So I think
Exactly.
if you can commit to whatever that means and takes, which it might to bring in some fill or topsoil or do compaction, or we don't know, but
The
that.
Conservation Advisory Board with some experts have offered their help because they're community members. And then Mark, Greg, Aaron, anyone, I just want to make sure everyone has their,
Yeah, I'm worried about the steepness of that berm, and reading what Walter wrote in his report, he just doesn't believe that it's going to hold up, that it's not going to erode, that it can be hydroseeded.
But if we can get a commitment.
And I think he's right from the other side. I think that is close to a 100-foot drop when you look at it from Holiday. Yeah, it's maybe 40 or 50 or 60 feet from inside your property, but on the other side of the property, whatever it is on your side of the property, it's high. It's not 20 feet, okay? And on the other side, it is a considerable drop, and I think that's what he was referencing. And he is the engineer.
Well, our plan is to get some vegetation. on it
He's not an engineer.
As soon
just
as we can.
point it out.
So
What
I
is
think
his
that what we're
credential?
looking for is, we don't want to sit here and debate about levels of compaction and what vegetation,
CPS,
where I think we need to get
CPESC.
a commitment that whatever whatever it takes that you're committed to as a condition to maintain the height of the berm and
Lessen that slope, which would.
however it needs to happen. Yeah.
And we could do that.
Bring
We
it-
could-
yeah,
we could-
bringing
We could
it
lessen
in.
the slope in the front, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
I
bringing
think
it in.
we're clear on the ultimate goal, which is making sure the berm is stable and revegetated, and that we expand into the space a little bit,
Yep.
and that we're being conscious of what the neighbors can see and hear by extending the
whole reason
berm.
for the berm.
Yeah,
I want
so-
to make that clear.
Yeah.
We built this berm
I mean-
for the neighbors.
So
I didn't need it for myself.
here's my, we should go through some of the other things because the concern is this is probably the most productive we've ever had with playing with a map and stuff like that. Probably should have done this a while ago. But it is like I've said it before, my spidey senses on the goalpost move. We say these things and then we get, a letter from the town attorney with some other thing in 2-3 days. So I want to put as much as we can of your concerns and things on the record here because they simply haven't been held to. I think it's important that we make a decision on some of these things.
We would argue the same thing.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, let's
So,
keep working.
But I just want to be clear before we move on from area 4, it sounds like conceptually we're pretty aligned, but I just want to confirm that there will be no processing of any wood product, organic product, or soil within area 4 at any time.
That's been written, this one, that's been on there.
Just have to say yes. Yeah.
There will be soil brought there to build the berm, though.
Yes,
So-
but no
so-
processing
no processing,
with,
yeah.
with machinery other than
I mean, we've
pick
been
up,
through this.
drop
There's
off
no
and
grinding
pick
in
up.
this area. That is what we've, the big contentions, right?
Yeah.
We're not grinding anything in that area. You're not
And no processing of soil,
Yeah.
no whatever, yeah.
The only thing that happens in that area is trucks bring in material and trucks bring that same material back out.
Loaded and it goes out.
So in terms of the operations overall on the site, other than the soil, the grinding and soil, like what, we want to talk about the other impacts. So in terms of the hours, we can shift focus to MJD because that's the next biggest impact, and the hours are a big concern there. So, from what we gather, they sometimes bring in trucks late from highway jobs. Sometimes trucks fire up and leave that place at the wee hours of the morning. And the concerns seem to be noise from gate slamming as potential millings are being unloaded into those they're called mafia bins, mafia boxes. I guess, is that concrete?
MJD,
Concrete
yeah.
bo- like there's bodies in there.
I've spoken to Mike from MJD. It was an easier way for them to keep some things organized. And they'd be fine with pulling those out of there.
So-
They're not essential to their use.
Okay, great. So that's great. We're totally aligned on that. With those come out, we get back into that or
It gives them no reason to slam tailgates. It just, that's what the effect would be there.
Right. We don't want,
They're
and
not-
there'll be no slamming of tailgates, like no
They're not.
raising or lowering of dump trucks. And then what we'd also like to ask for is it to have a kill switch for the backup noise on those trucks and have them, outside of the defined
of
areas of
regular-
operation,
Yeah.
those kill switches go on. And I understand that might create some sort of safety issue, but
We'll have to talk to the town who has that little circle in the middle there, because we had to tell them a couple times.
The village?
"Hey, you guys,
Yeah.
they have a really loud backup.
They have a
alarm."
rental
One of their
machine.
rental machines, and we had to tell them,
I
hey,
think
you're gonna
I-
get us in trouble with this thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
so-
I
but
think
what
that's
you're
legit.
proposing, Jay, is obviously that during regular working hours, the backup siren would be operating.
Yes.
But this is this
After
after hours period that
Yeah.
they wouldn't be operating. So if a truck is coming.
On the record and say
coming
that's
or
the
leaving at
village,
2 in
not
the
the town.
Correct.
morning,
It
3 in the
is
morning.
the village, yeah.
and
I
that,
can imagine we can correspond with the village if we really.
yeah, I mean, and that all tenants
Something that
will
needs to be
comply
addressed.
throughout the site. Any backup alarms will be disabled for any necessary movement outside of hours.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Okay. And then as for the other issue was lights. So people, obviously you got we're not gonna ask them to turn their headlights off and use night vision. So, those headlights are hitting houses, across the swamp. So we'd like to get some planting in, and make sure they're relatively mature, so that it doesn't take 10 years for it to be effective. Some sort of staggered evergreen buffer that, those headlights hit those trees and not the neighbors' houses.
And the lighting on MGD itself should always be pointed downward.
Yeah, let's make sure it's dark sky compliant lighting across the site as well. Like, let's get
I don't know if you can see the building across the way. This building
Gold's.
here, Gold's building.
Gold's.
I don't know if that building has any lights on it.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause that's above, that's actually above.
So just to be,
That's actually higher than MGD.
Yeah.
to be clear and simple, what I think we want to ask for is dark sky compliant lighting across the site, the entire site, which is relatively inexpensive swap out.
I suggest we kind
What,
of
LEDs?
berm, maybe behind MJD, if we built like a little bit of a berm. I know there's a power line that feeds this, but if we built just a little bit of a berm, then put the trees on top of the berm.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in that area would be easy.
Are there anything else around MJD?
Well, traffic wasn't discussed at all yet.
Oh, yeah,
right?
so that's a whole nother deal.
Did you do any preliminary look at going out to River Road on cost analysis or anything like that?
I did not know.
Right.
So I'm not sure if Phil did.
As far as you're concerned, you're not interested in doing that at all?
You mean
through the
the
town?
highway
Going out
garage
to
and
the
all
highway.
that kind of
The
thing?
road, yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah, you're talking about going, the whole plan of wanting to make a new road and things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if the town hadn't brought six-figure litigation to us, we'd probably have some spare money to do a road. But, yeah, we've been burning, yeah, this is a hell of a process, and
Yeah.
I don't think we have a path forward on that, so.
Burn
So-
that piggy bank.
Yeah, I don't think that's feasible right now. I mean, we could
Cost
study,
prohibitive.
it's cost prohibitive, we could study it. Yeah,
Well,
Maybe
It's kind
we,
of close to the swamp for you guys too in there, and
yeah,
a lot of debris dumped in there from the town, in that back, right where they want to go through.
Yeah.
There's a lot of debris dumped in
And
there.
part of the discussion was you're gonna take care of that, right?
Yeah, but you should see how much is there.
I
It's dumped
have,
in that swamp.
I walked it with the
yeah.
superintendent.
It's not pretty, so I don't know.
Yeah, all right, well, it's something that would,
but so maybe we think about it more in like, so the issue from the traffic is the turns off of Corbin, right? That is the issue. So the one thing that the traffic person brought up was that you could prohibit any turns,
any right turns.
any right
Yeah.
turns.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, and that we could even ask the highway department to put a sign there, right? Or we can't?
it'd be a state.
DOT.
State DOT.
Yeah.
But that's one, like, that's like, to me, the short-term solution. And then I do think for a longer-term solution, maybe that it is worth figuring out what that type of going through the highway department would cost or take, what that would take, because in the long term, maybe that is the better
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah, it's not, definitely not.
Yeah, I don't think we should move on to it just because it's expensive. Like, I think that's a little fast to just say it's a no on that. I think it's a
It's not
pretty,
your money, but, yeah, it's,
Well,
that's
let's-
easy,
let's
it's really
look-
easy.
I think
No
litigation is
accidents
going to be
involved
way
here
more
at all.
expensive.
We all are experiencing pain, we can share our pain.
Yeah.
So,
I think.
I mean,
we
what do
should-
we think the cost is? I mean, it's
No.
about like 100 feet of,
I have no,
150 feet of woodland.
That's only the-
yeah, not even,
I thought we had a wetlands issue there, though. I don't know.
That's
So
high
who-
ground. That's
who
high
would be
ground.
responsible, who
It's
would
just,
be able
it's just
to?
inside the buffer, is my understanding.
Oh, yeah.
Ron, you, yes.
Right.
It's just inside the buffer.
listen, it was a great idea, it's just the goodwill to move forward with something like that was just, we couldn't get through what our existing site plan process is here. It's a little raw.
Well, let's envision a world where the goodwill is restored, and let's see if let's just think about it as an option.
I don't
right?
understand, well, just hold on, I just want to pause on that. Why is it the goodwill of Trempson for the town to allow you to use town property to solve your traffic problem?
Because we don't have a traffic problem and we don't need the town's property.
Okay, that's your perspective.
It's my perspective.
So I think
I
there's,
don't think it's a bad idea to have access through there and have, Tremson, help with this, this town highway department. It's actually more,
yeah, it's right there.
But in the long term, would it be a
in the long
benefit
term,
to
it's something
Tremson?
we would be happy to explore, yeah.
So I think that it'd be worth understanding how much that would cost, right? Like, it'd be worth understanding the process.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
If that's not
I think
10,
it's just,
I don't know
what he's getting
who's,
at is like the worry of this whole thing, because
Well,
this did turn out badly here.
You're
'cause We
concerned-
didn't expect to go down this.
I see.
route.
So is the,
Right.
so the concern is that that would be a
Yeah.
condition that would stop you if you go explore that would be a condition that
We
would-
also did talk to, I'm sorry to interrupt, we did talk to Mike, and he also he would prefer a road from
Mike, I'm sorry.
Mike DeVito,
Oh,
from MJD. We'd prefer it
Yeah,
For safety
Instead of-
concerns.
for safety concerns and the well-being of his trucks and his business. So,
right, it would definitely be useful, I think, in the scope of a.
and I can imagine be beneficial for your business as well, also to have that road.
Oh, when we first proposed it.
Does the town have a town gate
we were
under-
favor for it.
Well, let's just keep it,
Yeah, I mean-
we're
I
here
think
to
it-
work, we're here to
it's-
work things
It's not
out.
that it's not
Let's
that it's
keep it on
open,
let's just keep it
it's
on the
not that it's
table
closed,
and,
I should say.
you know,
I think I would just say that putting it as a condition that it has to be, engineered, explored in 6 months, putting some date on it, something like that would not, we could commit to a schedule run, and Todd can come out there. But yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
it's an expensive prospect, and we are
We
small.
know, we know it's really
Yeah,
expensive.
We're a small business.
$1 million road.
This is.
It's gonna be $1 million, it
So,
probably will be
it's
a
like
$1 million road,
150,
Don't- yeah,
200
we
feet
don't-
of woods.
but,
Yeah.
I mean, I just
You know.
measured
There's
it.
a lot of cleanup, you measure it, there's a lot of cleanup, there's a lot of, the town does dump not only wood back there, all kinds of other things.
But they also, they wouldn't be using the highway garage property to go in and out. They would be on the other side of the transfer station and come out on River Road. So that is an additional area that would have to be
Oh,
developed.
that's a long.
Yeah, but
that's
it's
Yeah,
a
but
lot of
why,
right.
why,
cleaned up. I mean,
That's
part
clean,
of it
yeah.
is all.
I was saying just to
Very little,
punch
it's
through
not-
here and
Yeah,
use
they
their
wanted us
driveway.
to
They
use
didn't.
our own-
I know, I read the memo, and that's what Brill said, but I didn't fully understand that, because other than Saturday mornings, there's not a lot of traffic, so like, I think it would be worth it, how I was thinking about it, and I think part of what just happened here is we're talking about two different things. I think it would be worth it to try and, to just punch through that 150, 200 foot of woodland
And then use their
and share, because there's two roads that go around, and then there's just the pinch point at the actual entrance. But like, I mean, I've been doing that for 20 years, and like, yeah, Saturday mornings is busy, but you're not doing a lot on Saturday mornings. And I can't imagine 150, 200 foot of road. There's no wetland there. And to see how that would go, give it a year, study it, and if it is a problem, and I think when I read the memo from a couple of years ago, and it was clear, like, that has to be a totally separate road. And also, we don't necessarily want to do that clearing and the impact and another entrance, but
Yeah.
to see if we could do it that way, I think
I
would
think
be
you
very
set the
worth it.
town up for some liabilities if you allow them to go through our property and highway trucks.
That's what insurance policies are for.
I'm just, okay,
Yeah.
well, it's something the town board would have to decide.
100%. No, I mean, we can't make that deal, but I think just practically speaking, and I know that there's one of the things that occurred to me, if it is that, and it is a more digestible cost, and we can get the town to agree, and see how that traffic flow goes, there's a lot of, it solves a lot of problems. Yeah.
But so just to recap, because what I'm hearing is that you don't want it to be a condition that has to be done for your site plan to be approved. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I
So
think that.
what we're saying is that obviously it's multi-step process to even find out,
Right.
but we're saying, let's do that work now, and I'm open to it not being a condition of the site plan, because there are other solutions for the traffic concerns, which is not making the right-hand turn, right? So that is
But those things really are not enforceable. I mean, you can tell them, don't send your trucks
Yeah.
and make a right-hand turn, but they're really not enforceable. Because according to state law, there's no sign there that says no right-hand turn. So you can't have the state police or the sheriff write him a ticket if he makes a right-hand turn. out of there, or back in, you know? So those solutions really
Nor
aren't.
is it part of the site
They really
itself.
aren't. Huh?
Nor is it part of, to your point,
Yeah.
nor is it actually part of their
Right,
site.
it's off-site and it's
So
not, yeah.
it's, honestly, it's meaningless to be
I
quite
mean, but
honest.
it's one of those things, it's good for, that's good for everybody. It's good for us. It's not like, there's, I mean, enforcement to it. We have to get, any tenant that comes in that may have a truck or things like that, but we've said this, Paul's agreed on this before, that even UPS trucks shouldn't make a right swing out of there. Can we work together and we sign something as a landowner in that vicinity that the town drafts and says, hey, DOT, we think it should be right, we work together on that. I don't think there's any debate.
Yeah,
that
everyone agrees on that.
We couldn't do that.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can figure out how to, I think it's obviously we can't answer the question or make a real deal in the next few weeks, but I'll just challenge the lawyers and engineers to figure out how to put some tooth in that commitment to really, in good faith and best efforts or best commercial efforts or whatever the thing is to pursue that option with the town.
Maybe we could petition the town, the state to kind of make that entrance a little wider also. I know the Durkin family owns that piece of property, and I had discussed it with them a little
Off
bit.
of Corbin?
Yeah, off of Corbin.
He was, I
They own
think Jay was
that
talking
piece of
about the town.
Yeah, that was the
Letter back
the
from
traffic.
the
I also
state
said
and
it
they
would be
said
nice to have it
they'll
go
do
Yeah.
both ways.
It's
Yeah.
on their dime. I mean, it's
No.
our
No,
gateway
I don't remember
into
that.
your town, really. It's a
Every
horrible-
truck.
Nobody in the town likes that turn, you know? And there is there is a possibility, just bring it right here, right? Just make a split, bring it there. That would be the way to do it. And I think we can look at that and talk to the state and the county and whoever owns
That'll
that.
help you in there, too.
I don't remember that at all.
Can I just also point out that I think, the traffic issue is also about the number of trucks
Right.
that are coming in and out of the property. And so that may be a good segue into some of the other tenants that exist on the site, because they have a lot of trucks and they're bringing them in and out. It's not just MJD. Address TNA now.
She's just looking for a memo from the state about the Corbin Road. But I just want to go back to MJD. They have fuel. They have the fueling station. Where is that exactly on the plan? And that's regularly monitored and.
Yeah, they have a beautiful tank that they put. Very
That's I said they're one of your nicest tenants there.
Yeah.
They keep their place immaculate. It's a very nice looking place.
So I think it's our position that TNA needs to go.
Yeah. The storage, there's too many storage containers. They're not allowed in our code.
They
Their
weren't there in
filling station
2014.
looked,
Do you want to tell?
I'll tell them.
Can we get it?
I think as part of a conditional thing, we'd have to, yeah,
Can you agree to that?
but.
I mean, we'd give proper warning.
Yeah,
and-
we-
and-
yeah, we
I'm
have-
curious.
We would look at the legal side, me and Renee, to determine like how much time you guys are gonna need.
It would seem that, yeah, within a year or less, like I said, I don't want to go on the legal part of things, that it would be, I think, in their interest too. So
Can we agree within 12 months, TNA will no longer be a presence?
I'm fine with that.
Good.
Do we know how many trucks TNA have? We don't have that number, do we? Just if we're anticipating the
I
reduction.
believe it
We're
says,
kind of estimating the reduction of trucks if they're not there.
you're talking about tractor trailer, like
Yeah.
it says 5 trucks, 4 to 6 personal vehicles to and from work, 6 trailers, possibly
he
2
has-
containers, but usually out in the field. That's
So
what's written in your memo.
Yeah.
we're making a lot of progress, guys. We're almost there, I think, conceptually. Woodland is something that came up. I think there was, it's a pretty messy little nook there.
Yep.
And so I think we're looking for that to be cleaned up and generally have everything brought into compliance with code, across the site.
Yeah, no, agree. Yeah, we've had some challenges with that tenant. So yeah, you can have our commitment
Here's the letter, basically.
to getting them into
Town
compliance
of
and
Pawling wishes to do so, it may be
Clean
done
up.
under, so basically the town
Okay.
can.
Just practically speaking, how do you think you'll do that?
at this point, it's going to be a condition of his continued use of it. And he's been there a long time.
I think he's asking how they're going to clean it up.
Oh, how?
No, literally, how do you think you're going to compel them to complete it?
So it's just the enforcement part of it that they kind of slipped back. I had gotten them.
Yeah, they had cleaned up really nice at one point.
And then
then back to.
bad habits, yeah. And so it's one of those things.
If the area were fenced, would that help?
I don't think it's encroachment. It's just more their sheer volume of stuff.
I might even be involved to push him out of there.
If they can't comply with us and make it the way
Yeah.
it should look in there, then it would be a
Plus
condition
that
there.
corner tenant with the neighbors, maybe.
I mean, it would certainly go a long way with this board if you were willing to agree to a condition that they would have 12 months to vacate the property too. That's me speaking for
But I'm
myself.
gonna put somebody better suited for
Yeah.
that area.
They would have to be a
Just
landscaping company.
Yeah.
reissue that to Ron.
Which wouldn't have big dump trucks. He has a
And,
little bit bigger equipment.
It is a little bit questionable whether or not they're actually a landscaping company. They look more like an excavation company to me.
I think I heard about
Send
this
that-
debate a
send that
little
to
bit.
Ron.
Yeah,
But I'd like to bring up the idea of monitoring. I think one of the things that's been a characteristic of this over the last years has been sort of this, like the neighbors saying they're experiencing something, you're saying these things aren't happening, and I don't want to have to decide about that, and I think we want to have some data. So, and we've talked about in the past of putting a continuous sound monitor at the property line or near the property line. I had mentioned the particular technology is called Noise Scout, and it's used for these kind of applications. And combining that with some sort of camera that's it certainly has area 4, zone 4 in view. And having that, and having both of those, I don't know, there's all kinds of cameras, but having them networked and sending that data out, and having a code enforcement officer or the town have access to that data.
Yeah, I don't, just from I think I feel as if we've beaten this to the noise part, but no, I wouldn't be remiss if I stood up here and just said yes. I'm sorry it has to be to your stuff, Jay, but to put a monitor up, and I have not looked at the cost. I did look at the NTI website and stuff like that, and I thought fundamentally here, you're asking us to set up a camera and a noise monitor to monitor ourselves.
No, for us to monitor you.
Yes, exactly. So you can watch us, so the building inspector can be alerted when there's a loud noise.
Not necessarily, but.
And that's like putting a camera in your driveway. I mean, this is.
Feels like an infringement.
Yeah,
of privacy.
that's a. Listen, I think I am confident we've beaten the noise part of this. The grinder stays where it is down there, and that's where it is. That was sort of the point of having everybody come out. To ask us to put something that monitors all the time, I think is number one. I think it's unconstitutional, and I don't think that's. And I don't want to get into a debate at 9 o'clock at night after 2.5 years of this.
Well, this is a pretty material issue
about this. Well, I really don't think that you can ask somebody to self-report themselves.
Let me phrase it just another way, just because it is late, we're getting tired, is just how, do you have an idea on how we have a he said, she said situation, right? It's true. And we can't, there's no way to really be objective, right? Because we're not the neighbors living on Holiday, and we're not you running your business. So it's like, how do we find some common ground where everyone feels reassured that, you know, and I'm not going to say that neighbors saying that they're hearing things that they're hearing aren't true, right? Because we're all homeowners, or we all live in our house, we all hear things all the time. So is there this is a solution to that, because it's like monitoring in certain places where there could be loud noises, that this side of the fence is saying we're hearing really loud noises, this side of the fence is saying we're not, right?
We're not producing the. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So to me, it's kind of like, that's the goal. That is the end goal, is figuring out how to have a common shared understanding of what's happening on that particular edge. I think the edge is really the edge of Holiday, right? That's my assumption. I don't know where the other residents are on other parts.
Isn't that why we're extending the berm all the way down there?
Exactly. So, but it's just, that is a big point of tension, right? That is like the point of tension. That is the point where people are getting fired up. So it's like, this is a solution. Is there another solution?
You know, I have to jump in here because it just really, we approved site plans and they're not being met in any shape, way or form, and nobody does anything about it. So we're taking one particular site and saying, okay, we don't trust them, so we're gonna monitor them. But yet, we have other sites that we sat here for the same amount of hours looking at them, making sure this was there, trees were here, and everything else. And they're nothing like what is on the plan. So in my mind, either you're gonna make code enforcement throughout the town, or you're gonna, it just, again.
But that's totally what we're talking about,
There's
right?
so many sites that do not meet the site plan, and we, you know, and the board says, we're not in enforcement, and we're not, but I don't know why we sit here for so many hours and approve things, and then they just don't.
And we
end up
have a
working.
transfer station right next door that we've complained to them, like, hey, guys, you know, we're under fire here, please don't slam your tailgates. You know, because they do over there, they make a lot of noise, even on a Saturday morning, they're going at it with their garbage.
No, I agree
Well, let's
with
just,
you. So it's
I think
like,
let's
what do we
just,
do?
let's talk about it a little more. Let's sleep on it. Let's think about it. We'll talk about it again. We'll connect, Ron and Todd, we'll connect about it, and we'll see. We don't even know if it's illegal at this point, so
Appreciate you.
let's think about it. We don't need decisions tonight, but we're going to need them shortly. Everybody made valid points, I think.
Yeah. No, I don't agree with capricious enforcement, you know, and I think we do have a problem with enforcement, and it's getting slowly better over time. And I think, you know, we need some assurance that, or some way of understanding over time what's happening here, because there has been, specifically with this site, like a years and years and years of a he said, she said sort of scenario, and we just need to, yeah.
And for the record, I'm not saying I don't trust you. I'm not saying I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're receiving both stories, both experiences, and we're trying
That's
to.
why we welcome you
Yeah.
guys to the property.
Yeah.
See,
Well,
this is what we do.
No, but there is also a story that, like,
The big job. It puts them on the defense, and they're already on the defense because of the litigation that you brought them. They don't want to create an area of distress. They already taken so many steps to mitigate the noise through the berm, and they're here all the time trying to work towards a resolution. I don't believe a 24/7 live stream will create a good environment for anyone.
well, I mean, I kind of disagree with that. I mean, I think it would actually, if it's what's being done is what's being talked about, it would actually create trust. If you did that for 12 months and everything was copacetic, they would be like, oh, that's great. Everything is.
So if you
Well,
can
to
call
Mr.
it
Bernard's
policy
point, the
back.
selective enforcement does create that environment.
Well, that's
of
not our
distress.
job. You know, our job is to put as
I'd be
much.
confident if you stuck a 24-hour, 24/7 noise meter here. This is your property line. Follow the code that is the law in the town, and what the level is. You would never break that. You would never break it. I go on. If John were here, he would be yelling at me.
I'm not so sure it's actually right at this point, the noise level, but whether you actually do grinding in this space that
Right.
you were gonna use for storage.
Oh, in this area.
Right, so
Oh, well,
that's
yeah,
really
that's just-
more of an issue, is whether you're gonna move a tub grinder in there and start, what's that?
So you can do a monthly inspection.
Okay, well, that's a suggestion, instead of, that's why,
But I hear
If you get a complaint, I mean, the building inspector can
Right.
come out anyway and.
Yeah,
typically
which is
does.
why in this application, when it's a commercial application with a site plan, like the intrusiveness and the degree and frequency of inspection, I mean, essentially it's a digital inspection, so you can think of it that way. Like it's not,
It's a scary world we live in, really scary.
but it's a commercial application. It's not, the code enforcement can't walk into my house at any time if I don't have a building permit, right? Because it's a private residence. It's a difference. It's not, it's a very different thing. And we're trying to collectively come up with a solution here. And I think we want to put this thing to rest. I mean, I think my solution is clearly not acceptable to you, but we need some way to figure it
I
out.
hear that this is, we're worried that we're gonna come in here, you guys are worried that we're gonna come in here and start a rock crushing operation in there or something, or mulching here. That's not what we're presenting, it's not what we done, and it's not what we plan to continue to do, or to do in the future at all, so. How we enforce that, I think we could probably hash that out, I understand it's a concern. And what that looks like, something in between an inspection or.
Yeah, I
think
think
it'd be-
there's
would
lots
be-
of solutions if we all can agree on what. we're
I
trying to
appreciate
solve
you
for.
saying that, because I think we're having a hard time with that area not having been on the original plan to begin with, and now you're back here saying you need that space, right? This is integral to your operation, and so we're trying to come up with ways to enforce what we see as the problem with the use of that space. So there's a linear thing happening here that you have to understand when you hear us saying about monitoring. It's not just out of nowhere. It's that space was not on the plan. You need that space? All right, let's compromise on that space. This is attached to that conversation. So I appreciate you recognizing that.
Everyone's doing great, I just want to say that.
I mean, as far
Thanks,
as
Jim.
we're doing really
As far as
well.
I can tell, I think we're through the major issues, and I think there's a lot of work for the engineers
Jay,
and the lawyers.
there's
Sorry,
two-
Brendan.
Let Brendan talk.
there's a couple of ones. Just the statement of use and specifically hours of operation of the tenants was one that I think we wanted to discuss. And then the other one was commercial trailers.
Well, commercial trailers, we were discussed about, what should we get rid of, those commercial trailers come from TNA,
Yeah,
right?
containers, yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's also, they're in MJD, and then there's, I believe, one in Woodlawn.
And then this that's being used as a trailer.
So this says that basically they're going to put a
Gonna get
sign
cleaned up, right?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
just
a,
the, is that just the crossing?
yeah.
On 22, yeah.
Southbound?
We're gonna give them, we're not gonna, we're gonna make it a condition that they, of their continued use, if they can't meet it, even if it's in a much shorter time frame than, say, TNAs or things, something like that. They have 30 days to make it cleaned up, and then we'll start a process with them that they would have to. Yeah.
And they're removing that
Yeah.
container.
Yeah, well, that's,
Container in the vehicles.
I don't know
Yeah,
where this came
yeah.
from.
And the containers on MJD as well, right?
The 14 that are in your memo.
Containers.
We're talking about getting rid of the containers, right?
Right now, yeah.
The trailers,
Trailers,
Right.
empty.
saying
The-
it's against the town code.
It is against the town code.
In TNA,
Storage trailers, yeah.
To have trailers being used for storage, or
Yes.
storing tractor trailers there.
Up in TNA, there's a bunch too.
well, the
Well,
TNA
TNA
ones
is gonna
will
go.
away.
TNA's leaving, so,
So it's an MJD question.
right.
Mainly, yeah. There's one in Woodlawn.
Hmm?
There's one in
Woodlawn.
Woodlawn on like the left
we
side.
Well, if we
we already
just,
said
we
that.
discussed that they're gonna force them to clean Woodline up in 30 days.
And that includes
He's
removing the
just
trailer.
saying remove the trailer.
That includes removing the trailer. Then.
Yes, and that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, yeah, we can definitely get through those.
Do you think MJD is going to be an issue with that? I mean, in your own memo, you said,
Clean up the- yeah, clean up the whole area, yeah.
I mean, for the way
That's what they
he has-
said.
operates his clean-looking site, do we need to push?
But I think
Well, yeah,
the
I'd like
issue
to,
is-
I don't know which, I'd like to see which, what
It's the one that we submitted, I think,
what
right?
they
Yeah, he's reading
What
off.
are they using it for?
So, yeah, I'm not I think we're talking
By the
about.
code enforcement.
But Brendan, can you just clarify again, so again, it's against the
Yeah.
town code?
I can pull up the
Yeah.
full section if you want.
Yeah, I think that would help us understand what.
Can't have storage in a trailer for more than 7 days.
Yeah. So, commercial or industrial trailer is defined as any trailer commonly used for transportation, storage, display, office, equipment, sales, etc. And then in 215-13A, it says, it shall be unlawful for any person or persons to park or store for more than 7 days an industrial or commercial trailer, which I just defined, in any district within the limits of the town, except for the necessary use of construction projects. Such use shall require a special permit, which shall be issued 1 year or part thereof and renewed for 1 additional year only. Such special permit shall be in accordance with this chapter and the applicable sections following.
So how many does MJD have again?
Just one.
No, it says 14 in there.
14 storage containers?
No, it says 4 to 6 tractor trailers.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, that's not storage.
Okay,
Those are
so
what they drive every
they
day.
drive
But we're
every
talking
day.
about storage
Okay.
They
containers.
have one trailer.
It's like the
Talk about two different
tractor
things.
trailer
I think there's
container,
two
right?
behind the building.
All right,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
They
so
go-
those are obviously
Those are,
not, they're not in code.
yeah, so those,
Okay,
Pick
so
So
we could talk to, hold on one second. We could talk to him about removing those?
yeah.
And now, how long do you think that would take? You're given 30 days to Woodland, right? To clean up his act?
Woodland in 60 days,
Well,
'cause,
I think we probably, need to, I need to
30 days is pretty quick.
discuss that
Because
too with.
what I'm getting at is having
Weather.
the building inspector come and inspect
Right.
that these trailers are in a certain amount of
On the
time.
trailer
In
piece, I
a,
think.
in a time period, so if we can nail down a time period, that we can get rid of MJD's
Well,
trailer.
If it's allowable by special permit, would you allow him to come in for a special permit to store his tires in the trailer?
It's for,
Only during construction.
yeah, it's during construction.
I would
So
doubt
that
that,
wouldn't be
that they
applicable
would,
here.
die on the hill for that, so, yeah,
For the ZBA,
if they wanted to, yeah.
They
right?
could put up a shed.
That's what I was
Or
gonna
put
say.
up a
They
shed.
could, they could put up another form of storage
Right.
if they need to store things, that's
Yeah.
allowed.
Right, I think in the specific for the trailers, I think 60 days for the trailers is more than reasonable.
Okay.
If you guys are,
So we could do that.
that
We
would
could
make,
send,
yeah, us comfortable.
you comfortable with that? And if that has to get pushed back, give us notice, please.
I don't.
I mean, 60 days on
We
the
can
trailer.
notice the building inspector to take care of that, Joanne.
I can even just put it
All
on
right,
the computer.
where else are we now?
Can we
Use-
put a time clock on just general compliance with code across the site? We agreed to that, but we didn't agree to a time, which this would fall under that. You want to make that 60 days too, just to,
Well, TNA's,
TNA's got a year.
A year.
oh, right, and they're out of compliance.
Yeah.
So let's just
What
make
else
sure
is out
that's
of
in the
compliance?
conditions too. It's not just Tina getting out, it's
well,
like
that'll
the
be a
entire
whole,
site being
that'll be a
code
whole different
code compliant.
inspection.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
TNA has a lease.
general code compliance within 12 months.
Yeah, I would say
Tyler,
that's fine.
TNA has the lease that they're finishing up, or are they just,
No,
They're month to month,
they're
yeah.
month to month?
But yeah, they
So you wanna
still
just
have
give them-
tenants' rights at month to
They
month,
gotta find a
so,
place to go.
yeah.
Yeah,
Plus,
I could live with a year.
And then the last one was this general statement of use.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that needs to get,
Operations for the tenants, I think we would discuss.
yeah.
So we like briefly touched on it with MJD, but you want to, I think, have specified hours of operation for each tenant.
Yeah.
So,
Which I think we provided in the last memo.
well, who's, well,
Is it in here?
You wrote it in the last memo.
that statement of use, but I think there's more specifics that we asked for, right?
Well, I think the central issue was that I think the statement of use had work starting at 7 or 8, and MJD was active at 3 or 4 in the morning
Right.
consistently.
And they have different hours for summer and winter.
So they're
what
busier
doing.
in the summer, so they're gonna be.
They're not gonna change that,
It's not
so.
a work session there. They don't
Yeah.
do, they start up and leave.
Yeah, this is,
That's not a,
Trempson's the only one who, works on the site. I mean, this is where,
I mean, for a
You're right.
trucking company, like starting and moving trucks is like what they do, so there's some operation happening. It's not, they're not.
Well, they're
making-
hooking up trailers.
Yeah,
and-
that's work, that's operations, and that's what we were saying is creating the backup beeping and the gate slamming, which we have other mitigation on that. Maybe that solves it, and the headlights, maybe what we've talked about already solves everything, but we should get clear of what they're doing and when they're doing it. And
All right, where else are we? Ron, did you want to add anything?
No, I think that, for me, it's really just a matter of making sure that the minutes, or the tape is picking up all the commitments being made.
Okay.
I mean, Mike and I will then start generating what we perceive to be the appropriate conditions that we'll provide to you, and certainly the applicant can look at as well. And then start moving this to the end.
So you feel confident we're gonna move pretty quickly?
What
Absolutely.
about, do we go for
Absolutely.
FAS,
FAS.
landscapers? I don't have anything written about that area.
Where are they? Area D?
Area 6.
That's Area D, right?
But aren't they the one that had
Yeah.
like a little office with like electricity hooked up and
no,
stuff?
no, that's,
TNA.
yeah,
That's
that's not.
TNA, okay.
yeah,
It's
it's-
up in TNA.
Oh, TNA. Okay, so what's the question about FAS? Whether or not we know what they do?
Yeah, what exactly do they do there?
Lawn mower, yeah, and they're
They're just
also.
storage,
Yeah,
their
lawnmowers
equipment?
and, but they're leaving now. Not from this process. They're just.
So FAS is leaving?
When do you expect them to leave, so I can put in the minutes?
I'd have to give you a specific date.
FAS,
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
little landscaper guy.
Yeah. I could get back to you on those. I don't think we've had any problems with
You're
that.
not going to eliminate that though, right?
Yeah,
Landscaper.
Yeah, landscaper. That's
As long as it's
I would
small
call it,
equipment.
yeah, it's all small equipment, a garden landscaper, not somebody, mowing.
so a similar business?
Yeah, that could be.
So now, what's the game plan with Woodlawn? They're leaving? Or,
We'll give them the opportunity.
and then what are we gonna do with that area? What's the game plan with that area?
A landscaper could go
Same,
back in that area.
Well, not one with big dump trucks, probably.
Yeah.
This Woodlawn guy had some bigger trucks.
yeah, he had bigger trucks, yeah. Something smaller, like,
Smaller operation.
like, I remember you had Native Landscaping, I think, at one time?
Yeah, yeah,
Something similar to that,
yeah,
similar size
yeah.
tenant, I'm sure you wouldn't have a problem filling that. So a similar landscape business with smaller equipment. That's what we're talking about, where Woodlawn would be. And same size as FSA, FAS?
Yeah, he's small.
But that used to be, FAS used to be the Osborne's company?
What was the guy before? I can't remember. Yeah, no, there was another guy, gentleman, that was there for like 25 years. He was there when I got there.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name right now.
I can't remember either. Okay,
When's our next meeting?
that's what we gotta figure out. I think, I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin pretty soon. So we gotta figure out, when, Mark, you're away?
I think
Steve's
2 weeks
okay.
from now, I think it could work. I mean, we
Going
have,
on over there.
like he said, St. Patrick's Day next Monday.
Well,
And I'm away.
you're
I'm
away.
To answer your
So
question.
2 weeks?
2 weeks works for me.
That'd be the 24th?
Yeah.
Would be the
24, we can't, their ZBA has a meeting that night.
31st.
you should- yeah,
25th?
getting really close to.
Where are we at with,
Yeah.
25th is the court.
Court debt.
So we have a court deadline by the end of this month in terms of all paper discovery. Is there?
Which would be Monday, the 31st? Okay.
So we could probably do I think the room's only open on the 26th, Wednesday, the 26th.
Is it possible if we could do it sooner? It takes at least 2 weeks
Huh?
to get through discovery, just with everything.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I can't do the 26th, and you're away the next week.
If I'm the only one, that's the way, you know. Would Doc be back?
You don't have a
I'm
quorum.
away next week.
Is
also.
Doc back the week of the 24th?
No, I don't think so. I think he's probably figuring on coming back for the
He said no
April
more
3rd.
extensions to court as well. We've exhausted all extensions.
The 25th?
Yeah, that's correct. We've exhausted all extensions.
Yeah. Unless, of course, the town drops the lawsuit.
So we can't do the 25th because that's a
Unless we
court date?
stipulate it to drop it
25th
without prejudice,
is they
and then bring it
hold
back
court
if
this
nothing
week.
happens.
I mean, I have to look into that with,
I mean, it preserves your right. If it's without
yeah, I'd have to
prejudice.
look into it though with our litigation team.
Okay,
I know.
that's an idea.
Is that something you could look at tomorrow and let everybody know?
Does it have to
Next week,
be,
there's no
We'd rather
court
not
on the
spend money
18th.
working
Well,
with
the
those
room's open the
responsibilities.
Can we do it in the
18th or
planning
19th.
office? Is that
No, because
possible?
then I can't record.
You can't record in there?
can we do it on Zoom?
No,
They never passed a law to allow that.
no, you can't do it on Zoom.
So that, well, actually, we could, I mean, we could go the 31st, March 31st.
31st is
because-
too late.
It's
for
too
what
late. We
there's-
need at least 2 weeks to get their paper discovery to exchange it with the other side, with you guys. So we would just like to mitigate costs if we're gonna come to a resolution.
The town, basically, I put it this way, the town and Tremson have to pay to get all this together.
Right.
We are up against the deadline here.
How many people do we need, Joanne?
Like I've suggested to Brendan, you guys could stipulate it to discontinue the litigation without prejudice, so allow you an opportunity to bring it back, so we could buy some time and put off the deadlines, but Brendan said he'll touch base with the litigation.
Yeah, I could do it tomorrow,
I think that's a smart
but I
move.
would definitely still set a date.
Sorry?
I would definitely still set a date though, unless you just want to do it at the April whatever meeting.
I mean,
We do it at the April meeting, we have to be done in.
That's what I'm, unless they
Next
don't want to
meeting's
do a
April
special
7th.
meeting, I would set a special meeting date. That's what I'm,
We could go March 31st.
what time is the court?
Court, I believe, starts at 5:30. I don't know how late they go.
Sometimes they go late,
Yeah, they're busy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Could we do a daytime situation?
I could do,
Yeah, we
I
could
could
do-
do Wednesday early, Wednesday or Thursday, I believe.
What date?
The
I have a
26th?
doctor's appointment on the.
Could
can I
do
see
like
the
11
calendar?
a.m. on the 26th?
I can do that, yeah.
If I understand them correctly, they're saying that's too late.
It's, yeah, you need 10 days
Oh,
from the 31st back.
there's a lot of documentation, it dates back to 2014.
Yeah, we're
so-
trying to, but next week we have 2 board members
know.
out.
I don't know what else
3,
to do
And then
at
we
this
don't
point.
have a, then we don't
I
have a
mean,
quorum.
What else do we do?
Yeah, we
We're
don't
not
have.
gonna have a quorum
We don't have
next
a
week,
quorum
so-
next week.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry
This
to
is-
put this on you, but the ball is in your court in terms of the litigation to buy us some more time and save on money. It's all your decision in terms of that, because you guys brought the litigation against Tremson. We're sitting in the
town board
defense seat.
did.
Well, not us.
The
Right,
town,
right,
the town of
Pawling,
Pawling.
Sorry.
So, well, let's
So
lock in.
nothing on the 17th?
How about let's lock in, the 17th also is,
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, we were
well, it's St.
talking about
Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
But it's,
That's
that's
why
only
this-
7 days from now to get all the conditions hammered out too, which is also a tough
17th is a
thing.
Monday?
Right, that's a
17th
lot
is
of-
a Monday.
lot to-
Celebrate, right?
I mean, we could do it, you're not here the 17th, Jay?
I'm out that whole
Spring-
week,
Spring
yeah.
break next week, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the end of this week would be Tuesday.
I was gonna say, yeah, who wants to get aggressive?
The end of this week?
We won't have all this knocked out by then.
I mean, we could,
Friday?
could we,
Can we
They
get
have this
conditional
week?
approval tonight?
could we put this down? Could we put all this down in, I mean, maybe we don't have it. I mean, I'm not seeing how much we have to put on a plan. I mean, we could put this in writing and then say, by the end of this week.
Could we meet Friday during the day? Do you think we can get it drafted in time?
Time can you meet on Friday? You work all day, there's not even nighttime?
We just,
On Friday. I'm not available during the day.
what time are you off?
I could be here at 5:30, 6.
Perfect world, we wouldn't need to be like, we'd have it written and have things kind of hashed out by then, we then go over it. won't be a long, shouldn't be. We should still be negotiating on Friday if we're trying to vote on it too, right? I mean, that's just my,
Do we want to try it for 6 o'clock on Friday? Friday?
I mean, if we're there, then we have the meeting. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you, for at least 3 other of us, do it? Yeah.
4, we need 4.
We need all 4.
Yeah, Jen, you can?
We're waiting in the morning now.
Yeah,
So
I'd have
1,
to-
2, 3.
I have to leave I'd have to leave at 7:15 at the latest.
All right, let's say 6 o'clock on Friday, and let's get the 26th at 11 as a backup. And then we'll also see, let's just block it.
Friday the 14th at 6, and then back up Wednesday the 26th at 11.
At 11.
I can't do Friday at 6. I just realized.
Can we do 4 of us? We still have 4 of us, right? Us 4. Yeah.
Just know that it would have to be unanimous then to get a site plan approval. There's only 4.
Yep.
Just put it on the record.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm leaving Friday afternoon.
Well, look, we're going to circulate drafts before then, and we'll have your feedback.
Sure. But I just feel like this has been the most productive session we've had, and I'm hopeful that it gets there.
So, and then Brendan, we'll see if we can, I'm not saying we should, but if we do the stipulation with no prejudice thing, maybe then we just cancel all this rigmarole and we just do it at our first regular meeting in April.
Can you give me an answer by tomorrow morning so we could plan accordingly?
Probably end of day tomorrow. I wouldn't. Yeah.
Be amendable to that.
Yeah.
And so keep Friday on then, just in case.
We got
they-
Friday at 6, we got the 26th at 11, and
how should
if by some miracle we get, we do this
Friday
thing.
at 6. I mean,
Sorry.
that's-
no offense to the attorneys in the room. I think they're pretty used to it by now, but
I'm-
how do we communicate, throughout this week? We obviously have some things to do. So between Ron and Todd, because it seems like communications go through the attorney's offices, and then they sort of get muddled. And then, so how do we work with you guys
Can Ron
this
and
week?
Todd work together?
Ron and Todd, I think you guys are okay working together?
We've
Yeah?
already made a motion that our engineer can work directly with the applicant a long time
Yeah.
ago.
It hasn't been,
Interest of Dave.
yeah.
We have, nobody on this board has a problem with that.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's.
So then we're on for Friday night. We'll find out
Yeah.
tomorrow. And
Friday
by
at
the end of the
6
day.
and the
if the
20th.
Brandon,
situation-
how long do I have to advertise that, though? Am I gonna have enough time?
Oh, good point.
You're not gonna.
5 days. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm pretty sure you need 5 days. Yeah.
It's not gonna be able to go on the paper
No.
before Friday.
I'll text Mike. So maybe he knows.
Because then if we don't advertise it, we're not, right.
But what, is there another option? Okay, is there, so the Friday the 14th won't work because we can't
Well, we're
publicate?
finding out. for
Finding
sure.
out,
Yeah.
for sure. But is there another option to get everything drafted and be able to review it electronically, or that's not allowed?
The best option is the stipulation, but they won't find out till tomorrow.
Yeah, but I'm just, but I'm just thinking that if we can't do Friday and we keep the 26th,
Can we,
then we have some time to go back and forth with paperwork.
Yeah, all the depositions have to happen and everything else if we.
Hey, I already
as we're
blocked
getting
my
closer-
calendar for like
Yeah.
10 depositions. When is anyone gonna call me? I'm ready. I've never been deposed.
I was gonna say, yeah, if you had.
Yeah.
Like, keep it that way, yeah.
I have nothing to
Maybe,
hide.
can we maybe have a quick 15-minute conference call at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning and see schedule-wise, does any of this work? I
Brendan
maybe
said he
not have
would
an
know
answer
by
from
the
Brendan
end of the
on,
day.
Yeah, the litigation team's currently in a very contentious mediation, so I just don't know what time frame I'll be able to touch base with them tomorrow.
at least what's maybe in the planning board's control, like, can we advertise in time?
Yeah, we could find that out.
We've got three
Well-
options. We're gonna pursue them all,
Yeah, I think it's good that we just.
and we'll find out, but I think that's the best we can do right now.
Oh, here, this goes back to joint.
This is Brandon's?
You get to take that one home with you.
I know, but
Are we done?
everything in here in the background, so it was like, that was what it looked like when I left.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it.
I think we're finished, right?
Just before we end, Mike said he's pretty sure it's 48 hours, but I'll check tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay, so then we're.
so if that's the case, then get it out tomorrow and then, so then it would only have to go on the website and not the Poughkeepsie Journal, because it will not be allowed in the Poughkeepsie Journal.
Yes.
They don't take anything. Okay, I just need clarification.
Okay, so we'll
But yeah, I'll
find
double check with Mike tomorrow morning.
But we'll know tomorrow night also then if, tomorrow night, whatever you find out by end of day tomorrow could change everything. We go back to our first week of April meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna post that on town hall, right? Right in the building.
Right, yeah, I put it up on the bulletin board as well as on the website.
Give it our best shot.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Are we done?
Right.
Oh,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February
Second.
3rd, 2025.
Ben, all in favor?
aye.
All right, any opposed? Nope. Adjourn, need a second?
Second.
Jen? All in favor, thank you.